Coach, to start off, obviously the end results weren't what you would have liked them to be after your two losses these past two games, but it seemed that a lot of things were working and that you were in every single set. Can you talk about some of the positives that you can take away from this weekend?
Yeah, the Virginia Tech match, the offensively, that's as well as we've played in a while. We hit a really good percentage, had generally pretty good set distribution. But our blocking and defense kind of let us down. We had good offense. They ended up getting slightly better offense, and then against Pitt, the kind of similar. We didn't hit quite as well, but we had served pretty effectively. But again, blocking and defense, just giving up a kill here and there. That there's just a kill too many. I think, 4 out of 6 sets this weekend were decided by 2 points, and sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the last 2 points, like how do we win? And what we're trying to work on is the mindset that it's really not about those last 2 points. It's the 3 or 4 or 5 points leading up to that situation that where we gave up an easy one or gave up an opportunity to score an easy one that would have kind of changed the situation you're in at the end of the set. So for us, it's encouraging that you're playing with all of these teams. You're clearly competitive with these teams. You're clearly at the same level with these teams. But we've got to continue to improve what we do in the middle of sets more than the end of the set and the beginning. We got some slow starts against Pitt.
On Sunday, both Camille Amke and Devin Michaels saw considerable playing time. Will there be any more focus on getting the youth into the lineup for the remainder of the season? And can you talk about what went into that decision to give them a lot more playing time?
Yeah, well, we've lost our last 3 matches, or at that point we'd lost our previous 3 matches. So everybody's going to get a shot. That's the nature of competitive sport. If we're not being as successful as we need to be, then other players are going to get opportunities. And if somebody's had a good week of practice, or they got an opportunity to match it and really kind of took advantage of it, then that'll translate into a bit more opportunity. But right now we're looking to try to put 6 players on the floor who recognize the importance of points 0 to 5 that are just as important as the points of 20 to 25. And whether you're a freshman or a senior, I don't think there's any coach in the country who really cares. For the most part, it's just who gives you the best chance to win. If they happen to be freshmen, fine. If they happen to be senior, fine. But it doesn't what year you are doesn't factor into a playing time decision.
Brittany Pavich, who was one of the top players in all of the NCAA in hitting percentage at the beginning of the season, has slowly been getting back into the lineup following an injury. Can you talk about where she stands health-wise and the process you and your staff are taking to get her back into the lineup permanently?
Yeah, well, Brittany was out for 4.5 weeks, so that's a pretty significant time, especially as a middle, because so much of a middle's offensive game is about timing and connections with setters. It's a much more sensitive connection than an outside or a right side. So Brittany had, I think, going into this past weekend, Brittany had like 1.5 full practices, which isn't really enough time to develop that connection. But we wanted to get her in, get her a touch, get her a feel for the game again. She did a nice job blocking. She touched a lot of attacks and slowed them down. Not a ton of stuff blocks, but her volleyball IQ hasn't changed. She still reads the game really well, but it takes some time to develop the connection with the setter. And so we've done some work this week, and that'll be a process. Brittany understands that. That'll be a process that we develop. But it'll be nice to have her back as an available tool, because she has a different style than our other middles, so it gives us a bit of a different look when she's on the floor.
And this week you play a Syracuse team that you had previously played just a few weeks ago. Now that you've seen what they have, how does your approach change and how you prepare for them on Wednesday?
Well, it looks like they're in a bit more of a 5-1 than a 6-2. When we first played them, that was the first match, the first ACC conference match. So they've been playing in a 6-2 during most of the preseason, and we're clearly trying to continue that. It looks like they've gone to a bit more of a 5-1, although I'm sure they still have the 6-2 option. So that's probably the biggest change. You know, they're very strong at the pins. Both outside hitters or right sides are very good. They're a very good blocking team, and they don't make very many hitting errors. Syracuse rarely beats themselves. They don't give you a ton of points. You've got to earn your points against them, and that in that sense, you know, those pieces haven't changed. But the last time we played them, we did a pretty good job of slowing their hitters down, but our offense was a little inconsistent. So we need to address that.
And Syracuse, they're second in the conference in opponents' hidden percentage with a .157. How do you, as a coach and as a team, how do you guys look at that, and how do you address that?
Yeah, Syracuse does a really nice job blocking. They've got good size. They're real physical. They're really disciplined blocking. So I think they force a lot of teams into hitting errors just because they've got a good block. You feel like you've got to make an extreme cut or extreme shot in order to score. The real key against that is your set distribution, being able to get more hitters involved so that you aren't facing a double block. When they set up the double block, it's pretty big. So we've got to make sure that we're getting our middles involved there, we're getting our right sides involved. You're going to be in trouble against Syracuse if you become a one-trick pony, just setting, you know, one player the whole time or one particular set the entire time. Their block is effective enough and big enough that you're going to have a tough time scoring.